Hello, today we will talk about a solo glitch which will allow you to level up the role of trader very fast. There are only two conditions that need to be done to perform the glitch. First, you must be in a solo session, and second, one of your friends should be online. It doesn't matter who, this is a solo glitch. You just join his game once, he won't even know about it. So let's get started. First, you create a solo session by changing the MTU. I leave a hint on how to create a solo lobby. Then go to New Austin and stay right here, where I'm standing, near the letter M. We need to spawn our camp right here in this place. This is the Gaptooth Ridge location, first point. My camp spawned from the third time. Then write to creeps. This glitch works the same for both ways, resupply and delivery. Level up the role faster by delivering. So make your choice. As soon as creeps start talking, go to the main screen of the console using the PS button and join your friend's game. Here press to accept. Then you see the loading screen and an error appears. Press exit. After loading, write in this place. Pay attention to the minimap. All icons except the camp should disappear when only the camp is displayed on the minimap. Run here to the railroad. The screen went black and we start the delivery. Delivery can only be made to two locations, one near your camp, the other here, a little further. That's why we perform this glitch in this location. Here, trader role level rises the fastest. Starting delivery. Go straight to the road and turn right. This is how you start each delivery. The delivery mark does not appear immediately. Therefore, when you pass the first point, pay attention to this man. If it is standing, it means delivery point are here. That's it, real quick. Then you run to the railroad. Look at the minimap. The marks have appeared. Now turn back. The marks have disappeared. And again, run to the railroad. Next delivery. You hear shots. This means that the delivery points is here again. Bring supplies to the territory. Then kill everyone. Mission completed. Also, after completing this mission, you can wait 15 seconds and then run to the railroad. So, now it's quiet, and no one is visible on the right side. This means that we have delivery to the second location. In the same way, we go to the railroad and marker appears. Just perform a mission. The ending here is different from the first. This time it is quiet, but there may also be a shootout. After this delivery, you should go into this rock. Pay attention to the minimap. The markers are gone, so let's go back a little. This is how you level up the trader role. Also, you can do a resupply mission. Everything is done in the same way, only takes more time, as there are 3 locations and they are further away. But if delivery is not available, then this is also a good way to level up your role. Now couple advice from me. When you make a delivery and the markers don't disappear from the minimap, check your camp. You have a guest there. Deal with it and the marks will disappear immediately. If you are on a resupply mission and deliver supplies back, drive up to the railroad. A timer will appear, remove the bag and run with it to the camp. Just drop it on the ground near creeps and continue on glitching on. Friends who are interested in how to level up your character really fast, follow the link in the end of the video. Take care of yourself and see you soon.